Welcome to this explainer. Look, if your inbox looks anything like mine, you're probably just drowning in AI news right now. It is everywhere. But today, we're cutting through all that noise and setting the stage for a definitive overview of the 2026 AI landscape. If you're a professional trying to navigate this massive technological shift, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack the absolute most crucial data from the brand new Stanford AI Index Report, and we're focusing strictly on what this actually means for you, your industry, and our rapidly evolving economy.
I want to start by dropping a staggering statistic right onto your screen. 53%. According to the data, generative AI has reached nearly 53% population-level adoption in just 3 years. To put that into perspective, that absolutely crushes the mass adoption speed of both the personal computer and the internet. I mean, the internet took over a decade to reach this level of global penetration, and generative AI did it in 36 months. We have literally never seen a technology scale into the hands of the global public this fast.
Okay, let's dive into this. AI has officially arrived as a mainstream force, for sure. But the real issue at hand, and honestly, the theme that echoes through every single chapter of this 2026 report, is whether the systems built around it are actually ready. Are our businesses, our governance frameworks, and our educational institutions equipped to handle this insane pace?
To answer that, we're going to look at the data across 5 key areas today. First, we'll examine the adaptation gap. Then, outsmarting the benchmarks. Third, we'll navigate the AI economy. Fourth, automating scientific discovery. And finally, we'll tackle the safety and trust deficit.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the adaptation gap, racing ahead of the tracks. Right now, there is this massive disparity between the lightning speed of AI development and the stark lag in our governance, our education, and our evaluation frameworks. The technology is simply moving way faster than our societal infrastructure can handle. We can really anchor our entire narrative today on this core thesis directly from the report's co-chairs. They said, the data reveals a field that is scaling faster than the systems around it can adapt. Basically, we're in a frantic race to build the tracks while the bullet train is already moving at full speed.
Moving on to Section 2, outsmarting the benchmarks, saturated tests.
Let's look at the actual tech race itself. A major theme in 2026 is that frontier AI models are literally breaking the exams we specifically created to measure their intelligence. Take autonomous software engineering capabilities, which are measured by a really rigorous test called SWE-bench. In 2024, models were sitting at about 60% of the human baseline, so barely passing. But in a single year, by 2025, that performance skyrocketed to near 100%. Evaluations that were intended to rigorously challenge AI for years are now becoming completely saturated in just a matter of months.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when those benchmarks get saturated. Looking at mathematical reasoning across various models like Llama and SynthLLM, the capability gap between the top frontier models has almost completely closed. They're all converging right at the human baseline. So what does this actually mean for business? Well, it means raw intelligence is basically becoming a commodity. Since capability is no longer this clear differentiator, the industry's competitive pressure is aggressively shifting toward cost, reliability, and real-world efficiency.
Which brings us to Section 3, the AI economy, the professional reality. So what do these staggering technical advancements actually mean for your hiring pipelines and your daily operations? Let's pivot to the economic realities facing professionals right now. Here's a reality check for us. Organizational adoption of AI has surged to 88% across the globe. And right alongside that massive uptake, global corporate investment in AI more than doubled in 2025 alone. This isn't experimental R&D anymore, folks. It's the fundamental operational standard for modern business. But this is where the data tells a deeply complex story. On one hand, yeah, we have measured productivity gains. We're talking a 14 to 26% boost in structured tasks like coding and customer support. But on the other hand, we've got a stark, jarring reality in the labor market. Employment for software developers ages 22 to 25 has fallen by nearly 20% since last year. It's tough, but junior talent is really bearing the brunt of these early job displacements.
Now, what's really interesting about this dynamic is how economists are terming it. They're calling it seniority-biased technological change. Basically, AI is successfully substituting for junior, entry-level labor, doing the routine coding or the initial drafting, while leaving senior strategic roles largely intact. It's fundamentally reshaping the traditional corporate ladder.
If you're managing a team right now, this changes absolutely everything about how you train and mentor your future leaders, when the foundational work is increasingly automated.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Automating Scientific Discovery, from Tool to Agent.
If you work in STEM or research, you're going to want to pay close attention to this. The transition we're seeing here, moving from AI as a helpful little assistant to a fully autonomous agent, changes absolutely everything about how discovery happens. AI is no longer just speeding up individual steps in a lab. It's replacing entire scientific workflows end-to-end. Take the Aardvark weather forecasting system as an example. It completely replaced traditional, highly complex numerical prediction pipelines with a single machine learning system. The speed and efficiency gains are completely upending legacy scientific methods. Let's move over and see how this builds in the realm of biology too. Stanford's BioMomni is a prime example of a general-purpose biomedical AI agent. It doesn't just analyze the data you feed it, it actually autonomously maps out its own research actions. It dynamically integrates over 150 specialized tools and databases to carry out complex bioinformatics workflows without a human holding its hand. We are genuinely looking at the dawn of truly automated agentic discovery.
This brings us to our final core area, Section 5, the safety and trust deficit, the transparency drop.
We really need to bring our narrative to its climax by addressing the heavy, complex challenge of all this rapid scaling. There's an alarming irony happening right now. As these frontier models become overwhelmingly powerful and deeply embedded in our businesses, the companies building them are becoming significantly less transparent. The Foundation Model Transparency Index actually dropped from a score of 58 in 2024 down to just 40 in 2025. Vital information regarding training data and compute resources is now intentionally being hidden.
So the crucial point is that these abstract fears of AI scaling too fast, they are translating into concrete realities. Documented AI safety incidents rose to 362 this year. Frontier labs are closing their doors on sharing data sizes, and while models might look safe under normal testing, the report proves their safety defenses easily crumble when subjected to deliberate adversarial jailbreaks. The guardrails are simply not as sturdy as we need them to be. And for any enterprise building products on top of these models, this hidden vulnerability is a massive, massive liability.
And honestly, all of this data culminates in a deeply divided public sentiment. 59% of the global public remains optimistic, seeing massive benefits and productivity gains. Yet right alongside that, 52% feel genuine anxiety and nervousness about AI products. This perfectly reflects the societal tension of that adaptation gap we started with. The pure excitement of progress is directly colliding with the anxiety of unmanaged risk.
As we've seen today, the technology isn't waiting for us to catch up. The benchmarks are saturated, the economy is dramatically shifting, and scientific workflows are being reinvented overnight. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. AI is moving at light speed. Is your industry actually ready to adapt? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to consider your own professional readiness for whatever comes next.